Hi, my name is Barrington Miller, Director of Issuer Engagement at the Canadian Securities Exchange. And today I'm here with Steve LaBella. You know what, Steve? I'm not even going to say the name because I don't want to mess it up. What company are you here with?
I'm here with Mobilum.
And what exactly does Mobilum do?
So Mobilum's primary business is both on-ramp and off-ramp for crypto. So we help a variety of different businesses and consumers both turn fiat money into crypto, and then when they want to come back into fiat money, we help them move crypto back into fiat. So essentially, we manage the banking rails on both sides of that transaction.
And Steve, how did you get here? Because I know you're, new into this position with the company. How? Just really briefly.
Sure. So I've actually been here just over 2 months as the CEO of Mobilum. And I come from a more traditional fintech background, so not directly in crypto, but have spent the last number of decades starting a number of different businesses based in the US in the fintech space. So all payments related. And so they've sort of grown from traditional sort of bill payment services in the US to more recently international payments, so cross-border consumers who wanted to both pay for things back home and send money back home. So I've started a number of companies in the remittance space, all sort of tech-based. So the final company that I sold last year was a mobile wallet in the traditional remittance space. So lots of experience, both starting and running a number of different companies, grew them to as big as 100 million in sales. And so when this opportunity came up, so if you think about that level of experience, it had a lot to do both with consumers and banking infrastructure, compliance, regulatory in a number of different parts of the world. And so sort of fits pretty well into what we're trying to do here at Mobilum around sort of on-ramp, off-ramp for consumers who want to get more easily get into crypto.
So just walk us through very briefly how this process works for Mobilum. I say I have some crypto, and I call you or I call the company. What can you do? Like, just break it down, very, very basic.
Yeah,
and sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. And how does your company make money?
Yep. No, great question. So I think the first way to think about sort of the landscape we play in is that in a number of different sort of established markets with established players, the process of actually buying crypto with money that you might have in a traditional bank account is relatively easy. So think of the Coinbases of the world that operate primarily in the US. They have very well established on-ramp and off-ramps, right? I can plug in my bank account or my debit card, buy crypto on Coinbase, and when I want to sell it and move it back to my bank account, that's easy to do. What gets complicated is it's a big world with lots of different regulatory hurdles to get over, hundreds of countries that manage different types of banking networks. And so as soon as you start to step beyond that, the complexity becomes exponential around how to service customers in all parts of the world. And so Mobilum's core function, and we're growing this, of course, but is to try to make those on-ramp and off-ramps across a variety of different areas of the globe easier for both exchanges and for individuals, right? So a good example, sort of to more directly answer your question, is that we work with exchanges like Binance, who want a compliant way to interact with customers in Europe, for example. So one of our solutions is we help move essentially European consumers onto what's called essentially a virtual bank account in Europe, in which then that can be then converted into crypto. So we hold the licensing and the technology in that part of the world that helps a customer as big as Binance onboard and offboard customers in that part of the world. So we're going area by area to solve these problems for fairly large companies and smaller ones as well.
I appreciate that. And I'm still going off script because I know this is a question that is on everyone's mind, and that has to do with security.
Yep.
And I'm going to let you just ease people's fears of that.
Yeah, for sure. So that's obviously top on our list, everything that we sort of manage. And a lot of what we do is in partnership with exchanges. So in a lot of cases, we're not even touching the funds directly, right? We just sort of facilitate the technology and the movement on the back end while the crypto itself will sit on exchanges. But we take security very seriously. So in the cases where we're moving the actual money and touching the crypto, we've gone through full audits of all of our different pieces of the puzzle that we put together. But that's clearly the most important thing is to make sure we safeguard consumer funds.
There's a lot of talk in the air, especially companies that deal with crypto and move money and payment processes and all of those things. What differentiates your company from the rest of the noise that's out there?
Yeah, so we have a number of different fairly unique products. I described one of them in which we're licensed in Europe to both manage and set up virtual bank accounts that allow consumers to easily move money on and off. And so that's a process that you'll see, a product that you'll see roll out to a number of other exchanges. That's a clear differentiator for us in that part of the world. And then, the challenge is, as you probably realize, crypto is becoming more accepted from a banking and regulatory standpoint, but there's still lots more room to grow, right? And so one of the other products that we have is consumers can buy crypto with simply adding their credit or debit card. And so there's certain parts of the world in banking sectors that may not allow those transactions to go through simply because they're tagged as crypto. They're viewed as higher risk. We sort of manage that and have a number of different solutions on the back end to ensure a high acceptance rate for those transactions to go through, right? So that's part of our secret sauce on the back end, is sort of make those complicated, challenging transactions easier to process, but also with a much higher acceptance rate for our customers. And that's really what differentiates us.
And what do current investors and would-be investors have to look forward to with this new sort of vision of the company?
Yeah, I mean, not to get too deep, and again, I'm a couple of months into this, but not to get too deep into the history of the company. There was a number of different strategies that have been tried over the last couple of years that didn't have anything to do with what we're doing today. Prior management had gone and chased a number of different strategies, and most of those have been shut down. We've sort of settled on this on-ramp, off-ramp concept as the best sort of growth scale strategy. And so if you think about really just in the last 6 to 8 months is really where we've begun to focus on that. And we've signed some high profile clients. With those clients, we've also attracted lots of other new business that's coming in the door that we're looking forward to announce over the next couple of quarters. But we think our growth prospects with really this focused effort is going to be substantial. So we're looking forward to being able to talk a little bit more detail about that in the coming quarters.
Well, thank you, Steve. And we appreciate your continued listing with the Canadian Securities Exchange. Steve, if people wanted more information, where should they go?
Sure, they can go to mobilum.com, our website. For any potential customers, they could fill out a form there to express interest, and we'll get back to you right away. But any regular retail customer can check out some of the details about what we do.
And Steve, if people wanted to trade you, what's your symbol?
MBLM.
Perfect. On behalf of the CSE, thank you again. This has been an episode of Newly Listed /Update. And I've been your host, Barrington Miller, and I was with Steve LaBella from Mobilum.